I think it's a straightforward matter I want to address. It has to do with the draft legislative instrument that the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government intends to lay. I'm sad to see a draft legislation instrument that the government intends to lay. This NPP government intends to bring an ally that will restrict import and to create what we call a committee that will give permit to a prospective importer. What this simply means is that going forward, if you want to import rice, sugar, diapers, poultry, and a number of items, approximately 22 selected items, you will need to go to the Ministry of Trade and Industry and to see a committee that will be constituted by the minister before a permit will be given to you. This, I think, is a dangerous practice. It has happened before in this country. And you recall that in 1967, a commission of inquiry was established. Justice Olenu's committee was established. And that committee was to identify the corruption and malpractices relating to import licenses. The report was clear that that practice is outmoded and it cannot be continued because people use it for the purposes of rent seeking. This government is taking us back to 1967, once again, President Akufo-Addo. I'm worried that a time will come, if you are not an NPP member, you will not even get a license to import something to this economy. That is unacceptable. Ghana is a member of the World Trade Organization. This practice, the World Trade Organization frowns upon it, and it's a clear violation of the practices of world trade and international trade, and it should not happen. We are urging His Excellency the President to have a rethink, because this is not a policy that we should encourage. Unfortunately, we all know that Article 11(7) of the 1992 Constitution placed a limitation on us as a parliament. The responsibility is on the President and the Vice President, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, to take action on this matter. Because from what we have seen, this has received the approval of the President and the Vice President. So, Mr. Vice President, your cabinet has approved this. Your government is asking Ghanaians going forward that before you import 22 items, you have to come before Parliament and seek permission. You have to go to the Ministry of Trade to seek permission. We believe that this is not a good policy. They need to rethink about it, and they have to withdraw it. In fact, we in the NDC will criticize it, and we'll do whatever it takes. The only problem we have is that the Constitution places a limitation on us, because it is an ally, and it will mean that it can be laid without us having any major input. We have done pre-laying, and we have sounded to the minister that this policy is not a good policy. We stand with the importers, we stand with the ordinary Ghanaian, and if the government for any reason believes that the time has come for them to ban certain items, let them do it and show us reasons why we should ban it if we have substitute locally. That should be a government policy. But to introduce the kind of restriction that will mean that you will need a permit before you bring these items, I think is something that the government will have to rethink. If you say that you are restricting the importation of rice, are we producing rice in Ghana in the quantities that the ordinary Ghanaian will require to consume? Obviously, no. What they have done, rather, will fuel inflation in the sense that they will create artificial shortage. And if they create artificial shortages, the prices of these goods and services will go up. And when it goes up, it doesn't only increase inflation, but it increases, the burden that it will place on the ordinary Ghanaian, and erodes the household income. So that is what they have to understand. You see, if they had created domestic production for some of these items, I will have no issue. But clearly, we know that they want to restrict sugar. But we don't have a sugar processing plant. The one that President Mahama actually constructed, this government is refusing to open it. So where is the sugar going to come from? What they are seeking to do is to create business for their supporters, okay, and financiers. So what will mean is that today, if you are not an MPP supporter, they will not give you the permit to be able to bring in sugar. And where are we going as a country? Arbitrary way of managing the affairs of this country. I don't think this is something that we should continue. It is wrong, and the government must think about it once again.
I think the leader has summed it up. But can you imagine that this is a government that for 7 years have proposed policies that are supposed to solve a lot of our import problems? The 1D, 1F, as yesterday I stated, the clear objectives there, apart from creating jobs, was supposed to really have created industries in every district in Ghana in a way that we will really add value to all the products we produce. The Minister of Finance has simply said in his statement that our import bill for 2023 was $10 billion. The 1D, 1F has not been able to clear even one product. We are not able to say that as a result of the 1D, 1F, because of that, today we are not importing into Ghana one of these products. We are not able to say that because of planting for food and jobs after we spend all these billions. So if we want to solve the problem of our import bill, the reason why this is being done, we must address it honestly. That's where we are. But to go back to a very discredited and outmoded licensing regime that has created corruption. You know, the Olenu report has said it. It's a rent-seeking behavior. You don't put politicians in charge of issuing licenses. You know what the outcome will be. We've gone past that. And we are saying that this government must not encourage it. That's all.
No, let me clarify this. You see, he said you don't put politicians, particularly this kind of politicians that we've seen.
Yeah. I think
this kind of politicians we've seen their behavior.
Yeah.
And you cannot place the responsibility of issuing a license for the purposes of importation into your economy into the hands of this kind of people. Obviously, that is not the way to go. And the president must have a rethink. Let us not create impression that Parliament has the power to stop this. No, this one is in the bosom of the president. So I urge Ghanaians to blame the president directly and the vice president if this thing goes through. It is not a parliament matter. The constitution gives the power to the government, and it is only the president who can withdraw it. Because you can check the constitution, Article 11(7). It's clear that parliament cannot do anything about it. All what we can do is what we are doing, to alert the public what exactly the president and his vice president, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, intends to do. They are going to restrict importation of certain 22 items. And if care is not taken, diapers, including diapers, you can't get it to buy in this economy because we don't produce diapers locally.